the GM jobs that he declined, not great. You're basically just Vrabel's henchmen of just accumulating information. Obviously, if you go to the Titans, while he's a good coach, you are just answering to him. I wouldn't call that a true GM job. Though he last year, I guess, interviewed for the Carolina Panthers job that had Rule. But maybe you saw the force for, like, he realized, like, this could be a one and done. I could be in charge. The Cardinals, you do have to deal with Kyler Murray and kind of the organization, which is a little weird. And because remember, he wanted the Giants job, and they went with the guy from the Bills. Like, and that's a true GM job. You get to hire the coach, and that's a great job. To me, I just think you've worked this long, your resume is that good. You wait for a job where you're the actual GM, and you can come in
like good too, right?
Your job's good. You get to, your job's good now, but like, can I hire the coach where there's a cohesion between the two of us? I'm not at the point like John Schneider has developed. He has a fantastic job, but when John Schneider was hired, he was, he worked for Pete. I mean, still technically he does, but he worked into that over a decade long to be like, have a lot of juice.
Yeah.
I think if you've gone this far and you got rings and success and you have a lot of juice with one of the best organizations in football, do you want to go back to like the ground floor? I don't know.
One of the best you work with John Lynch. Is there a time where there was smoke? Maybe there will be fire with McVay. Maybe the same will be said for Lynch. Do the Niners at some point win a Super Bowl, or Brock Purdy wins his third championship and Lynch is like, all right, that's enough for me? I don't know, but Adam's young. He doesn't have to. He's not like, this is my one shot. Maybe this is the shot he wants, and maybe he feels like eventually he'll get it as the Niners general manager. Maybe John becomes, you elevate him to some presidential title.
President of Leeds.
President of Leeds. Yeah, Lynch starts building Leeds, and Adam becomes the GM of the 49ers. You get offered a lot of jobs. Look, when coaches get offered jobs, what happens? They eventually get raises. Maybe there are raises involved there. John Lynch has gotten raises. I would imagine Adam Peters has gotten raises. Close to family, right? That's another part of the dynamic.
Young kids from the area.
Like you say, if you are valued and your opinion matters and you are able to influence the organization and you're paid well and you're succeeding and you like the people you work with, like, that's the one thing. If your opinion matters, like if you get, now ultimately you don't get to make the trade, right? I could understand if you said, you know what, I want to be the one that gets to pull the trigger on these deals. Okay. But does John Lynch they seem, at least from the outside, to have a good little collaborative thing going. So it seems like a pretty good place to be. Maybe he's going to join Bob Meyer's podcast network. I don't know. And that'll supplement your income with that. I don't know if you saw that, Bob.
What the fuck was that?
Bob's got a podcast coming. So
I saw Sam tweeted. He's like, the Warriors got more fucking podcasts than wins.
But in all seriousness, like,
I had to reread that twice. I'm like, wait, he's on this podcast? No, he's doing a podcast with this guy.
Yeah.
Jealous of Draymond, man.
Yeah. I think once the season starts, basketball is a little different than football, right? Once the season starts, the personnel department still has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you're constantly.
I loved Adam Peters saying, like, focusing on the playoff run. What does that mean, you think, John? You've been a scout. What is the front office doing during a playoff run?
I mean, scouting all-star games, and I guess they don't have picks. It's not like he's scheming with the coaches. I think it's just a way of saying those two jobs suck. Obviously, Titans would be interesting if you were boys with Mike. He was, a low-level guy with the Patriots when Mike was a player. So I just think that when you sign up for that, you're working for Mike Vrabel, Yeah. And Mike's earned it. Like, I'm not, but you are. There's no question whoever gets that job. Like, there's a partnership. Yeah, not really. Right. So, yeah, one thing about football is more unique than basketball and baseball. General manager jobs don't open that often. Like coaching every single year in football, right? 5 to 7, just consistently. At minimum 5, crazy years could be 8. You can have years where no GM jobs open, right? Like this year, the Arizona's open. is the Titans really open? I mean, kind of. It's like a personnel job. I bet Adams was like, I'm already doing what he'd want me to do. Like, I run the personnel department here, basically. Right? And me and Kyle, and I've known these guys way longer. Like you said, I remember Bobby Wigington when he moved jobs when I was living in the city. He's Ivy League guy, friend of ours. And he like changed the job, and he was so big on the title, he wanted to be called a VP, and he ended up leaving that company. He's like, the titles are so irrelevant. Like, you fight for power, you fight for money. You call me an intern if you listen to me on deals and I have decision making power. You fight for these titles, like, oh, you're the GM, but yeah, you have zero decision making power in the draft and free agency or during the week. It's like, cool, right? All GMs in the NFL are not equal.
Bobby Wigington never on the first tee on time.
No, well, he's usually coming up with a bag of booze. You know, he's got to stop at a snack bar before he hits the first tee.
Not Ken on the stream says it's rare to check off all those boxes at once. Really, you're choosing to uncheck all of them just to have all the power somewhere else and hope to recheck all those boxes in your new spot.
I think also it all depends your resume, like when I say resume, like what you've personally experienced. It's why a lot of coaches, right, that some guys jump at opportunities to go places where we go, what the fuck's this guy doing? Well, he might say, well, half of my jobs have been at crappy places and I feel comfortable in that. Where other guys are like, I only go to certain spots. Peters has worked for Belichick, John Elway, and now Kyle and John Lynch. And he's won at every single one of them. So it's like your standard of what you're looking for in an organizational philosophy is pretty unique. Right. You have a pretty good idea.
You know what you know what I would add to that? Those three places all have pretty hands-off owners too. The Broncos did. Kraft is definitely front facing, but
when he was there, Bill got to do everything.
Yeah, Bill got to do everything. And here, like, the owner is not Michael Bidwell, anything close to out in front is Michael Bidwell. So
I think that's why he wanted the Giants job,
because the owner stays out of it there.
And he gives you the juice to like make the decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, once upon a time, the coach got the juice to bench Eli Manning. As crazy as that sounds now.
Right. And Eli's got an office in the building.